Hello everyone and welcome back to Eurofever Garage. As always, I'm your host Donovan, and today we're going to be doing a POV detail on my 2013 E82 1 Series. It just had a couple rains on it, so as you can see the paint is not doing well, but we are going to be fixing that today. Now, this car is in deep need of a paint correction. We knew that when we got the car, but unfortunately I haven't had the ability to do so yet, and I'm sort of getting ready to do it. I'm very familiar with BMW paints. I mean, I've done paint correcting on my own car. I've been wanting to do this one for a while, but as you can see in some spots, like right here and on the other side, there's a lot of scratches, a lot of marring. So at some point, this car is just going to need probably a really good professional to do it, but the car stuck with me. So we're going to wash the car as best as I can. Now, I am a little bit low on some of my supplies, so we're not gonna be able to do everything today, but I'll show you the way I do things. So to start off with every wash, I always start with optimum no rinse. This is a diluted ratio, so it's slightly more concentrated than whatever the 5-gallon concentrate is, 1 to 256. I would say this is probably like 1 to 128. So I always like to spray this on the car's paint beforehand, just to get a little bit of the dirt getting encapsulated. So this is a really good rinseless wash if you've ever used it before. And I use this when the water is turned off at my complex during the winter time. So because my car is ceramic coated, I'm able to do a little bit easier of maintenance washes, but since this car isn't, I try to be a lot more careful, even though the paint is kind of bad. So I just like to go around, spray everywhere I can, everywhere I see, get this stuff as atomized as possible. As you can see, this sprayer is pretty good at doing that. So customize it to your liking, as well as the concentrate. That's why I went a little bit harder today, because Texas water and rain, Texas rain in general, is just very hard. So you do have to be a little bit more careful as you work on paint, because you don't want that to get stuck in the paint first off. And secondly, when you're actually doing paint correction, you don't want that to get in your buffer pad. You don't want to push that in the paint. So it's just good practice to do what you can to minimize scratching as much as possible. If you've ever done clay work before, you know that you also have to concentrate this even more. I believe optimum no rinse suggests 1 to 16, so it's even more concentrated, giving you a lot more lubricity and providing that extra barrier between the paint and the clay bar. As you can see, absolutely horrid. Even the wheels, while these aren't very dusting pads, they still do tend to capture a lot of dust, just because, like I said, the water is super hard, so that ends up getting more dust inside. Damn, my hand's getting tired. As you can see, the water spots are just brutal. I'm gonna have to be very careful today. So I'm posting this video before another special one that you're gonna see in a few weeks. The other car that we had to do this on, we had to go over it multiple times with foaming before we even touched the paint, because there was no paint basically. All the clear coat was gone. It had been sitting under a tree, and you're gonna see that video when it comes out, but damn. You gotta be really careful with paints if you don't want this stuff to scratch up. And I'll do my best to get any shots that I can where I can, but this is mostly going to be a POV video. I didn't really want to bore you with the B-roll. All right, so as you can see, the car is now a little bit better encapsulating that dirt. So I've put the 40-degree tip, but we're not going to start with that. We're actually going to start with foaming it, let it sit for a little bit, and then we will start touching the paint after we've done our foaming. So this is Mr. Pink's solution, and we're going to foam up the car. All right, so as you can see, I didn't go too thick with the suds on this layer because this is basically just gonna get power washed off. I don't like to have it too thick. I only do it thicker when it's the actual touching of the paint. So I'm gonna try to do my best to show you the difference between when it's like really dirty versus at the end. The soap is more for maintenance washes, but if you're using something stronger that's more alkaline, it'll actually get stuff out better just because that's what road grime breaks down with. So we're just gonna let that sit for a few minutes. I'm gonna wash it off and then go over it again with some more foam. All right, so as we can see down here, a lot of this dust is starting to encapsulate. You can see the hardest stuff is still in there. So I might not even spray it off yet. I might do another layer because it doesn't look like this stuff wants to come off yet. So it just hasn't been, the mixture wasn't strong enough. So that tells me we need to go at it again, because even mechanical power washing can introduce swirls. While it's not something that's super dire for my situation, considering the paint, it's still something I need to be mindful of so that I don't introduce any more. Again, this is me being just very particular, but if you see that your stuff's not strong enough, you're just gonna have to do it more often. So, here we go. While it is best practice to go from top to bottom, I have found that just attacking everything with the same strength, you get a lot better mixture. The soap has time to agitate more area. All right, so that's layer 2. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit more. I'm gonna see how the paint's reacting as the soap falls off. So we were looking over here, so I'm gonna go to that same spot. And we can see a little bit more coming off right here. Here it's not as bad. I'm seeing a lot of it fall off here, so I'm gonna try to get here real quick just so that I can, actually, I'll leave this right here so we can try to compare the difference and see if we can tell where the extra soap was. You can kind of tell right here how the dirt is pulling off. So again, this isn't the strongest stuff in the world. Mr. Pink is very pH neutral, so I probably should have done more. I probably should have used a stronger chemical, but this is all I have right now. So we'll have to work with what we got. And while I'm no professional detailer by any means, I just have a higher attention to detail because I like to make sure that what I'm doing right, I don't have to do twice. One of the biggest pet peeves I have is doing something wrong or doing something twice because I didn't do it right the first time. And if I can prevent myself from having to do things multiple times just because I messed up the first time, then that's better for me. We can see here, paint's really starting to pull a lot of that dirt, so we're actually doing a really good job. I'm gonna try to foam up the car with what I have left. I'll see what that'll do, and then I'll spray it off, because you don't want to use this foam as lubrication. There's a bunch of dirt in it right now, and I've seen people do that before because I always miss a step. It's what happens to me very often, is where you just spray the car down with foam and you think, oh great, it's got soap, it's got lubricity. You put that pad on there and boom, you're introducing swirls. You can see it on my car if you look close enough, because I ceramic coated the car in 2021, about May 2021, and the car looked phenomenal. I didn't get to do everything I wanted, but I thought the car looked really good. And it's been 2 years since then, and not doing great on my detailing practices, and as a result you can see a lot of micro scratches coming back in. So at some point I'm gonna have to redo the paint correction and the ceramic coating again, but it was really cool while it lasted, and it's the ceramic coating is still holding up really well. It's just I've introduced a lot of swirls, and that's my fault, so it's just something I have to be noteworthy for the next time. So we can see here, this is one of the worst panels just because of where it is location wise. You've got a lot of dirt that goes here, especially from the hood where it's a lot hotter. So I'm gonna do it one more time, and I'm gonna just see if that does anything. Especially here, does not want to break it down. So unfortunately I think my stuff's just not strong enough, but we'll see what we can do doing this last layer. So just barely enough. I think it should be fine, but we're gonna let that sit. I'll wash it off and see how the paint looks, and then we'll decide whether or not we want to do more soap. But yeah, we'll let that sit for a couple minutes. All right, so it's been a couple minutes. Let's check out how the paint's doing. Yep, it's still really, really bad right here. So we're just gonna spray it down, foam it up again, and then go from there. As you can see, the sheeting's not super great. It's way better than it was before because I had clay parted it at a certain point, but it's just really not great. You'll see how the water behavior is changed over time as the car becomes cleaner. So just watch that and watch how the water speeds up as it goes down the side of the car. All right, so now that the paint is fresh, I'm gonna run my hand along it. I'm gonna put my microphone up to it, and we're gonna see if you can hear how grainy it is. If I had to compare that to a sandpaper, and I'm not a sandpaper expert, I'd probably say maybe 1,000 grit. Maybe whatever's right before 1,000 grit in terms of roughness. Go one step harder, and I think that's what it is. That's what the paint feels like. So now that the paint had a little bit of time to get that out of the way, we're gonna start with the wheels, and then I will soap it up again to use as lubrication. All right, so we've got a wheel and tire brush. I've also got a spoke brush and a bunch of smaller ones. I've got Diablo wheel cleaner diluted about 5:1, so I didn't do too much. I've never done it in here before, and I actually wanted to try it today, so let's see how well it foams up based off my dilution. So it's not a foamer, and that's totally fine. We're gonna use that as lubrication. Like I said, there's still lubrication in here, so we should be good. I'm gonna start with the tires, so I'm gonna grab the brush and go along there. All right, now I'm gonna do the surface, the face of the wheel. Just get most of the big stuff off. Okay, then now we're gonna do the spokes, starting from top to bottom. Since we're on the brake caliper, I'm also going to dip it back in the bucket a little bit more often. All right, now we're gonna go between the spokes. Nah, it's too tight. All right, so we're gonna use the big brush and get nice and tight in there. Then I'm gonna use a smaller, oh, this is the bigger brush. I'm gonna use the bigger brush to get in between the wheel and the tire, kind of right here. And I'm gonna get the smaller brush again and get in the lugs as well as the valve cap. And then lastly, I'm gonna get in these really, really deep crevices right here and just kind of make sure it's nice and clean. All right, that should be good. So now we're gonna spray it down. On to the next wheel. If you've ever smelt this stuff before, it smells like cinnamon with fucking cayenne. It smells phenomenal, but spicy as fuck. All right, so we can see right here, a lot of that soap didn't do jack shit. So gonna foam the car up one more time and use that to help provide lubricity, and hopefully the agitation will help get that out. All right, so I didn't put too much in. Still gonna put it on max foaming, see how far we can get on the car, and if I need to, I'll turn it down. I'll turn it down about a half notch. Now we're gonna use the bucket. Now we don't have two buckets specifically for cleaning, so I use a grit guard at the bottom with a little combination of O and R at the bottom as well. So that helps capture the dirt just a little bit more. Just remember to come back to the bucket as much as needed. I'm actually gonna agitate this a little bit more with the power washer, get that soap activated. Nice straight line passes. No pressure, just letting it glide. And I like to hit it every panel, hit the bucket every panel. Again, that's really not necessary unless you got a really, really dirty car, but here we're gonna get on that panel that was really bad earlier. I am doing just a little bit more pressure just to get it moving. Yeah, look at that, how much that dirty is. I'm gonna hit that one more time. Gonna hit that one more time. Get all that extra dirt out. Still a little bit, but that should be good. So we know that's gonna be a pretty brutal panel on the other side. Same thing, top to bottom. Work it down. There we go. Pretty, pretty dirty. I'm gonna hit this bottom rocker panel, one long sweep. I'm gonna hit it again on the other side. There we go, yeah. Dirty, dirty. All right, now we're at about the halfway point, so I'm gonna switch to the other side. And then I'm gonna do the front. right. Let's see how bad. Not too bad actually, but I'm gonna hit it whole weight. Yeah, not too bad on this side actually. Gonna grab one of the brushes. Gonna get the grill down here. And get in here as well. It's looking pretty juicy in there. We're gonna get the kidneys as well. The perfectly proportioned kidneys. Unlike the G42, like the video you'll have just seen at this point. Honestly, G42 is fine. It's just not nearly as soulful as this car, and I think that's where the issue comes from. It's just none of the new cars have soul. You know, there's just no soul. It's all corporate shillings and so on and so forth, and it sucks. It really sucks. But I'm not one to shy away from the future. I simply enjoy the past that I had and hope that the future can be as good. And I hope BMW recovers from this just like they did with the Bengal era. We had I wouldn't say a decade, but we had a good long while where designs just weren't that really good. I know some people do actually like that generation, but I'm not really one of them, and BMW ended up making 2 generations that were phenomenal looking with the E82, E90, E92, what else? The F generation, the F30, all the cars in the F generation were really, really good. And it finished off very, very nicely with the F90 M5, I think. That's pinnacle modern BMW. Mid-2000s, I hate to say it, but I think my car is definitely one of the best looking just because of how beautiful the lines are on the coupe. Down here, you're gonna have to be really careful as well because a lot of rocks get kicked up, especially this portion right here. So hit that with a little extra love. And just be sure to keep it clean. This is also a really bad spot because it's so flat, stuff gets stuck here. So be extra careful, extra lube. You know how it'd be. Look at me here on 2 knees, making sure everything's nice and lubed. Say hi to the YouTube shorts for me. I'm gonna hit this back spot with a couple detail brushes. I'm gonna do the bigger one for the rondel. And we'll do the small one for the emblem. And some of these spots up here. Really, really wanna get up in there because as you can see, it's pretty dirty. Especially the grab handle. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna hit that again. Let's really get some momentum in there. Almost forgot the mirror. All right, let's finish with this rear fender. Hit there again. Oh, and we got to unlock here. I want to get inside there as well. Always good to get in here as well. All right. All right, let's watch and see how the water behavior is this time. You can see the sheeting right here is really, really good. I mean, not the greatest, but so much better. All right, so underneath the hood, you want to be a little bit on the safer side. So I just use an all-purpose cleaner, and I'm going to spray it from very, very far away. This is my all-purpose cleaner. It's just some, I don't remember what it's called, but I will put it in the description and put a picture here. So I'm going to start with the tire brush. Gotta wash up all those oil leaks, am I right? Right, boys? It's not just me, right? So I'll just kind of... All right. So now the car is pretty much good. There's one more thing I like to do if I was to continue detailing this car, or if someone was paying me to. I would decon the car a little bit, just do a chemical decontamination because mechanical takes so long. So at this point, I would spray on some iron decon, let it sit, wash that off one more time. But we don't really need to do that right now. So I am going to use my O&R as a drying agent. And I'm actually trying out something new. We're gonna try one of these new towels from Walmart. So hopefully I have enough. If not, good luck. So I'm just gonna do a very, very quick spray. Just so that it's on the actual paint. And here we go. So I've never really used these before, so. Yeah, that works pretty good. Okay, I'm with it. Shit, I only need to use one towel for the whole car, I'm set. Towels I used before, they're fucking, took me like the whole 6 towels. I mean, granted, they're not nearly as absorbent, but yeah. I'll get there in a sec, but I don't really know how to get over here. I guess just, yeah. Kind of, I guess, bottom up this time? I don't know. It's definitely feeling hefty. I can feel it now. I mean, that was a lot of water. So, I don't think the red side would be very useful, but certainly with a shot. I mean, the fact that this is the whole car is honestly saying a lot, because I'm so tired of using 6, 7, 8 towels just because my towels don't want to absorb any more water. So as you can see, it does a pretty good job. Let's see if switching sides does anything. Yeah, I mean, it's soaking through, but it's still absorbing the water. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it feels good. The fact that I only had to use one towel, I guess the scratching and swirling stuff, that's a whole different story. But I give it like a 7 out of 10, especially for price, since you get 2 of these guys. I would certainly recommend it. This used to be the towel that I tried. If you've ever used chemical, guys, you recognize this a lot. It did not do good. Honestly, I don't know why this is even a freaking towel. It does good for wheels because it's a lot harder of a paint on wheels, but I would not use it on the car. It's too much maintenance, and I could not take care of it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So if you use this towel for your paint and it works, good for you. You're way better than I am. But I don't know, I couldn't get it to work for me, and it's better as a towel for the wheels, so I'm not complaining. It gives me a lot of surface area to work with. So, and now that I've used this side, I'm going to use the other side to wipe off the tire dressing once I'm done with that. So still have a good amount of life. So this is the stuff I use for tire dressings and whatnot. It's pretty decent. I mean, I got it with a big kit, so just make sure you shake it up a little bit before you're done. Make sure you get that all nice and in there. I'll give it 1, 2, 3. Usually let it sit for a minute. Once I'm done with this front wheel, sit for a minute and then go back around and dry everything off. I like more of a matte finish than a wet look, but just my preference. Woo, skeeter's starting to get at me. So while that's going, let's show you condition of the paint now. You can see it's still pretty bad, especially with swirling and whatnot. I'm gonna put my hand up to the paint. You can hear the difference over before. So it's a little bit smoother. It feels smoother, but there's still like a lot sticking to the car. So grit wise, it's probably more to 1,000, 1,200. I don't know what's after 1,000, maybe 1,500. But it's still pretty rough. Unfortunately, this paint, like I said, this paint just needs a good correction as well as a good coating. So like I said, at the beginning of this video, I am running a low on a lot of this stuff. Matter of fact, I'm out of my sealant as well, so I can't really do anything here now. O&R is an okay short-term thing, so it should be fine. Again, this paint isn't great. This car is a great 10-footer, but as soon as you get close, it starts to wean out a little bit. So now that it's been a minute, I'm going to dry off the wheels. Now I only wanted to do the outside of this car because I am down a shop vac right now. My other one broke, so I am stuck with a different one that's not as good. But once that comes in, then I will do an interior detail on this. So we'll have 2 POV videos. We'll have this one, and then we'll have the one for the inside. It's probably best to have 2 different videos because you'll be able to see a little bit more tips and tricks based off of each one rather than one long, large video. All right, now that it's been a minute, we are going to wipe down the wheels. Like I said, I like more of a nice little matte look. So this is pretty good. It's about how I would like it. I love the silver on black look. I think the silver on the finish on these wheels, I think it's called either Hyper Silver or something like that, but it looks phenomenal. So there you have it. I appreciate you guys staying till the end. I know this was a little bit of a longer video. If you like this style of video, let me know down below. If you want to see more detailing videos in this format, I'm getting a new GoPro, so we should be able to do better content that way. In the meantime, go check out our DIYs and detailing videos on our other cars. We've got a bunch of cool stuff coming up. So again, thank you for watching, and until next time, see you later.